Welcome back to RXMuscle's Iron Road to the Olympia 2018, brought to you by Redcon One. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is the 2018 San Antonio Pro Classic Physique champion, Jason Lowe.
How's it going?
What's up? You're looking very full, like you've been eating since the show.
Yeah, I stuck to my diet for a full week after the show because I had a photo shoot. And then after the photo shoot, I went a little crazy.
It's all right. Congratulations on the big win. A lot of people don't realize you actually qualified for the 2019 Olympia because any show that took place, I guess, after the Tampa Pro is considered for 2019. Was that a little bit of a disappointment for you? Because I know you're still 4 or 5 weeks to the Olympia, at this point.
Kind of, but at the same time, I like the fact that I get a long off season to prep for that. Sure. I haven't had an actual off season in about 4 years. Right. So it's kind of nice having that. But yeah, I was, grinding from the beginning of this season for the Olympia qualification for 2018.
But like you said, you have a whole year to make progress now. You started out the year, you've been competing, like you said, all year. You were at the Arnold this year. You were 11th at the Arnold. You were 4th at the Upper Midwest Pro, I think, which took place right before the Arnold. So you were kind of knocking on the door. Was the Arnold a disappointment for you, or was it like a wake-up call for you?
I went to the Arnold with very low expectations. I knew I was bringing one of my best package to date. It was my first show working with Chris Aceto, first time ever having a coach ever.
Right.
So he brought me in peeled to the bone. I knew that. I could have been fuller at that show, but like I said, it was our first time working together. Yeah. So we played it a little safe. And, I feel like I could have placed higher, but it is what it is. It was a great learning experience, and first time standing on stage with a lot of the top guys. Breon Ansley was there, Arash Rabar. So, and the first time the judges got to see me, I was in the lineup standing right next to Arash.
Yeah, that's a tough guy to stand next to. Now you placed 11th at the Arnold. Obviously, the Upper Midwest was a 4th place finish. That was a top 5, so that was great. Most guys would have taken off the year at that point. What made you decide to come back and hit, the show in San Antonio?
I took about 2 weeks of kind of off my diet and relaxing a little bit, and then I decided to jump into the Omaha Pro there, and I ended up in 6th there, which it was a pretty tough show. There was some good guys there, and once again, I felt like I could have been a little higher, but I'm not mad. Everyone that placed in the top 6 looked phenomenal. And at that point, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, all right, I should just be done for the year. And I don't know. I honestly don't know. Tampa is right, 2 hours down the road from me. I'm in Daytona. So everyone just said, look, you're still in shape. You might as well, peel it down. And I asked Chris Aceto, and I was like, look, if I can give it one more push for Tampa, and then San Antonio's a week later, if I don't win Tampa, I could possibly win San Antonio and be qualified for next year or something. And so we just gave it a shot, gave it one last push.
It was a good strategy in hindsight, but in retrospect rather. But it could have been a disaster too. It could have been luckily you were able to peak your body again, because it's hard to keep hitting it. A lot of guys think it's simple. It's not easy to peak over and over again. You dieted probably the better part of the last year.
Started in November. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I honestly, Aceto was actually shocked too that I didn't look more burned out by the end there. He expected me to. Yeah,
it's the old saying that look, you got to be at the right place at the right time. San Antonio happened to just be the right place for you at the right time, and if you hadn't gone to that, who knows? You would have been maybe second guessing yourself. Hey, I could have won that show.
Exactly.
Was it a shocker that you won for yourself because you you really hadn't placed that high up until that point, and now you go into the show and you dominate it and you win pretty convincingly?
The big shocker, honestly, was 3rd place in Tampa. Out of that huge lineup of like 40 classic competitors.
Right.
And, there was some really tough competition there. So that was really the big shocker. my goal in Tampa was just to get first call outs. I was like, if I can get first call outs, I will feel amazing in that lineup.
Right.
So placing third there really boosted my confidence and everything leading into San Antonio.
Gotcha. Look, like I said, it's once you get that win under your belt, it really boosts your confidence level, like you said, tremendously, and that's going to obviously play out next year. Now, will you, with your penchant for liking to get on that stage, will you be able to hold out a whole year to the Olympia, or will we see you back on stage in 19 before that?
That's a good question. Anyone that knows me does not believe that I will actually take the full off season. Because, like I said, it's been 4 years. I think the longest I've taken off is 3 months in 4 years.
Right. Well, maybe you should come back and do Tampa next year, because that'll be the last qualifier. Or maybe you should do San Antonio again, so qualify for 2020.
Yeah, I could do that. And that could be a good warm up for the
Olympia. Right? Exactly.
Yeah. I was thinking, I'm definitely not going to do any shows before like the Chicago Pro. If I did anything next year, that's the earliest I would do something.
All right. How did you get into the whole sport of bodybuilding?
Honestly, I was always into working out. Even as a little kid, when my parents would get mad at me and send me to my room, I had one of those little Chuck Norris slide up and down total gyms. I'd go in there and I'd be pissed off because I got in trouble, and I'd work out. I had some dumbbells and stuff, and then I was on the weightlifting team all through high school, just powerlifting and stuff like that. I was second in the state of Florida.
Nice.
And then after high school, I kind of slacked off, got into the sloppy, drinking and party lifestyle for a few years. My brother passed away, and I kind of went down a bad route. And in 2010 is when I looked in the mirror and I just said, I got to change. Something's got to change. So I got back.
What was the final straw on that bad spiral you took?
DUI, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that depressing for you to receive that? I mean, because it's one thing to go out and party. It's another thing when you actually get branded, a drunk, by the government,
What the worst part was knowing that, like, my brother died in a car accident.
Oh, really?
And
sorry.
That, but kind of, I should have taken that as a, go positive route and stuff, but I went the wrong way, and I think what hurt the most was that I knew how bad it hurt my parents when I got that DUI.
Sure.
Disappointing to them and everything. So that's what really made me turn around, get back into shape, started, focusing all that energy on fitness and bodybuilding. I didn't know anything about bodybuilding at the time, but I just got back in the gym. I knew how to get strong. I didn't really know much about nutrition or bodybuilding, but the head trainer at the local gym I was at was a natural pro bodybuilder. And after about a year of training, he asked if I ever thought about competing. And I figured I'd never really thought about it, but it gave me a goal to shoot for. And that's what I needed. I needed a specific goal. And once I did my first show, I just got hooked. And it gave me a goal to shoot for every single time and just keep getting better and better.
If people out there are watching maybe they were in the same situation you are, maybe they're depressed about something, and they're into maybe doing too much alcohol or too many drugs, and what kind of advice would you give them to help refocus them into a positive aspect of the sport? Hey, get back into the gym, start eating right. How could you turn it around? Do you have any tricks to give people?
I guess it's a personal thing, but for me, it was fitness. That's something I was always passionate about, and I had lost that passion because of the drinking and partying and stuff. So I guess it's just, look back in your past, find what you were passionate about, find what you loved growing up, what you loved before all the alcohol or drugs or whatever you got stuck on in the depression, and focus on that and set goals. Like, that's the biggest thing that helped me is, set a small goal, achieve that, set a little bigger goal, achieve that. And it's the same thing now since I've turned pro, or even as I was trying to turn pro, set that small goal of winning a local show. And then a small goal of, making it top 5 at the national level. And then, just go from there. And then when I turned pro, the goal of being in the first call-outs of a pro show. You know, just every time I reach that goal, just keep setting another one so I don't slack off.
Right, and I think that's very good advice. I think because I always tell people, even if you don't believe it in yourself, everyone's got something that they love to do, whether it's playing video games or raking leaves outside or drawing or playing music, whatever it is. Everyone's got something they're passionate about. And I don't believe it when people tell me there's nothing that gets them going. You got to find what it is and nurture that, don't you?
Exactly, and they might think that it's something so insignificant that it doesn't count as something they're passionate about. But you know, anything can count. You're right, video games, whatever. It's as long as it's something that they can focus on to keep them out of that depression and those bad habits.
Absolutely. Well, Jason, congratulations on qualifying for the 2019 Mr. Olympia, and
thank you
for getting through this crazy year you had and turning around your life, because I think you're certainly an inspiration for a lot of people out there. And now that they know your story, I think that they can really rally behind you in a sense and see where you're going, because you know, you could have wound up as another statistic.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. And yeah, can't be more grateful for, you know, being able to turn things around and the people that helped me do it along the way.
Yeah. Well, once again, are you going to be out at the Olympia at all this year, or are you just going to kind of lay low?
I plan on trying to make it out there. I've been talking to a couple of sponsors about flying me out there and stuff like that. If not, I might just fly myself out there. I'm not sure, but the bank account doesn't always like that.
Yeah, I tell people you got to go to the big shows, because you know what? You network so much at these shows and you make connections. It's worth it to write it off as like a business trip, even, because you can't. The Olympia and the Arnold are two shows that every top athlete should be at, and that's just without saying. I can't tell you. I was given that advice when I was coming up, and you know what? Every show I ever went to when I was younger, I made another connection. I made another good person. I met another good person that helped promote my career and push it forward, and that's really what it's all about.
Completely agree. That's exactly actually what I told my wife last night whenever we were talking about me flying out there, whether I have to buy my own ticket or not. It's be great for marketing and just getting my face out there and showing that I'm supporting the industry as well.
Absolutely. Well, great talking to you, and congratulations on the big win.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. I watch every piece of RXMuscle bit you put out, and so it's a pleasure and an honor to be on the show finally.
It was my pleasure to interview you, and that's going to take us to the end of another episode of RXMuscle's Iron Road to the Olympia 2018, brought to you by Redcon One. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.